everybody, and welcome to another episode of the AWO podcast, Are We Over? And today we're going to be recapping all of the shows from this past week, and a lot of stuff happened. So this should be pretty fun. So we're going to start.
And pay-per-views tomorrow, Kim.
Yes, and we have a pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell, and we'll be doing a review shortly after that is over. But let's start with Raw, and we started, and this will be an interesting topic of discussion. But we started with Alexa Bliss putting Lily in a timeout. Because she thought she went a little bit too far last week.
I love how they're just mocking everybody who trashed it on the internet, just saying how terrible it was, because it was bad, but just saying she went too far. But hey, Alexa Bliss wrestled. How long has it been?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
You know what's funny though?
Yeah.
Who did they pull that? Who did they do that scene from though? Do you remember, Jimmy? What that scene was from? Where Lily was in the mirror? Remember WCW back in the day? Hogan was standing there and they seen Warriors. You seen Warriors' face in the mirror?
Yes, that was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you said it, that makes it even better.
Well, they had to do something with Lily because when they are going back to live crowds, I mean, I don't know how they were going to continue the Lily storyline without some big, Lily reveal of somebody else or something. So anyway, Nia Jax came over to the Playhouse or the playground. Well, there was so Nia and Alexa talked, and it ended up that they had a match later on in the show. We had another Charlotte versus Nikki, because Charlotte cannot accept that she was beat by Nikki, so she had to face her again and got beat by her again because of the
That's Jimmy's girl.
Hey, all I can say, man, as long as she's on TV and they're doing something with her, I'm happy. It's better than her being off TV and doing nothing. There's millions of people in this world who would kill to have the screen time Nikki Cross has right now.
Yep.
So.
Well, I just hope that after this Hell in a Cell that we'll be done with this whole angle, because it's just repetition every week, and I'm ready for them to move on to something else.
I hope they give Nikki a title shot.
I hope Nikki beats everybody for the next 3 weeks just to rub it in your face.
Well, she's on a roll right now. We had a backstage segment with Jeff Hardy advising Riddle about tag teams, and
whoa, you got 4 eyes.
Yeah, it was funny, and he basically told Riddle that he should listen to Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've met Jeff Hardy and got to do a meet and greet with him, and he legit has the eyes painted over, and the whole time you're talking to him, his eyes are closed, and you really think. I looked it up later, and it's the way he started dealing with anxiety of meeting a bunch of different people. He closed his eyes.
Yeah. Jeff Hardy had a match against John Morrison, and Cedric Alexander came out, started giving Hardy a hard time about being old, and Alexander just thought that he needed to go away. Jeff Hardy then had a match against Alexander, and Hardy won. So they're actually
this is whole Vince's thing. All Vince's thing that all the matches have to mean something now. So Jeff Hardy had to retire. Just out of nowhere, we had a retirement match.
It's funny. My wife's like, "Oh, so that's how Jeff's gonna get out of his contract. He's
gonna lose to Cedric Alexander,
retire and go somewhere else."
Yeah. Then we had the debut of Eva Marie, and earlier in the day, they had come out on social media saying that Eva Marie was going to have a match with Naomi. So everyone was, kind of just like, oh, Lord, here we go again. And Eva came out and she did not get in the ring, but Piper Niven from NXT UK did get in the ring and
That's who that is.
really beat up Naomi, which is unfortunate for Naomi that she had to be.
Well, because they released Lana, so Lana would have done that.
I know. Well, it could have been anybody, but
yeah, it could have been Mandy Rose or Dana Brooke or Liv Tyler. But I mean, so I'm with everybody. Like, who cares about Eva Marie? But I thought it was interesting that Eva Marie took credit for the victory, and I thought that was an interesting angle. I wonder how long they're going to keep that up. They did change the girl's name to like Dewdrop or something like that.
Well, but on the show, they acted like nobody knew who she was.
Right.
A lot of people did know that.
Well, that's just like Amos and
General Z.
Yeah, they're like,
who
is this?
Yeah.
Well, because the average person who watches is probably not watching NXT UK. I had no clue she was.
Well, I didn't know who she was, but like Amos and General Zed, when they first debuted, they're like, who's this behemoth? We've never seen him before. It's like, are you serious?
I was like, Amos used to be the bodyguard of Raw Underground. Let's talk about that for a moment. Talk about a bad idea.
General Zed was a dude that was destroying everybody until Braun Strowman came in.
I tell you what, though, we'll get to this later, but General Z can move a lot better than Amos. He's way better in the ring than Amos. Like, he could actually do stuff, Yeah.
Well, let's move on then, and we'll get to that match in a minute. Backstage, Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose were having a photo shoot. The twins were having their photo shoot backstage.
Maybe they're trying to make them the new Bellas. I don't know.
And then they were hearing noises, and just, it's very interesting, but there was a ring like right across from where they were getting their photo shoot done, and Natalya and Tamina were wrestling, and there was some words exchanged there, and it ended up that Dana and Mandy got in the ring, and then of course a bunch of people came in and broke up the fight. So I don't know what that was all about. That was something we probably could have done without.
Again, why are we even discussing this?
Drew McIntyre had a promo where he ended up calling Bobby Trashley. So now we have Drew McIntyre versus
McIntyre.
Yeah,
did you do that on purpose?
No, yeah, because before Adam Pearce called him McIntyre at one time.
I didn't catch that.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, that happened a while back, and so it's like a big joke, where people call him McIntyre all the time because
no one calls him McIntyre.
Adam Pearce actually called him that on Raw one time accidentally.
I think you're still drunk 24/7 where she's come up with that one.
No, I'm not.
McIntyre.
So then we had probably the highlight of this show was again RK Bro versus New Day. And out of all of the
wouldn't it be great if Raw was just it wasn't 3 hours, it was just 20 minutes and it was just that match and everyone's done?
Yeah. So they had a match. RK Bro won that match, and it was, obviously it was the best part of Raw. Rhea Ripley had a match against Asuka. Rhea won, and then Charlotte came out, and more trash talk about things.
So here we go to the preview for tomorrow night's pay-per-view, in which we say no one in the world cares about Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. MVP and Lashley were backstage, and there was a segment where one of the backstage interviewers were asking them why they thought that McIntyre was having a match against AJ Styles, and I don't know what that was all about. It was another waste of time. Alexa defeated Nia in a match with a DQ because of interference by Reginald, and then Reginald got in the ring and Alexa started
mind controlling him. We don't know.
Mind controlling.
And everybody who's like ripping on that part on the internet, on the interwebs, I mean, again, the Undertaker was a dead person.
Yeah.
Like you can't dismiss.
They had to do something since they, got rid of Lily. They couldn't just dump everything related to Alexa. So I guess this is what's gonna happen going forward. MVP had another.
All right, now this is where I want to stop.
Kofi.
I hate this entire thing. If first of all, if the end result is like Kofi becoming more serious, and then him and Woods like aren't a tag team anymore, but they're still all together, that's fine. But if this thing ends with Kofi turning and joining MVP and Lashley, this I may never watch again.
I don't think that's what it's going to be. I personally think that it's going to end up with a Kofi versus Lashley match,
which I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but I don't know why they keep. I mean, I don't know. They keep doing it. Kofi keeps saying he's never going to leave his friends and everything, and so I don't if they broke up the New Day. I think that now's not the right time. Maybe if they want to do that, wait a little bit, but I don't feel it's the right time.
I will say this. I think a dark horse prediction here would be, I could see, and I would like to see Xavier win King of the Ring. I think he's at that level, like where Baron Corbin was.
King of the Ring anymore.
Yeah, well, I think they will have a King of the Ring. I like to see. I think Xavier Woods could do a lot of funny stuff, being King Xavier and stuff like that, and doing a lot of.
I would actually like that too.
We agree on something.
Oh, it's a miracle. Yes, we do.
That's funny because I don't like Eva Marie, and Kim's like the biggest Eva Marie fan in the world.
I'm not at all.
I'm telling you, you better not say you like that stupid backstage segment with Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy. Because Kenny Omega's the worst person.
My thing with MVP doing this with Kofi is maybe he's hoping Kofi will come in and interfere, blaming McIntyre for stealing his spotlight and cost McIntyre the match.
Well, I mean, he could, because he did make a very big point to say Kofi wasn't on the card.
Yeah, so
actually,
maybe,
I'd like him.
Maybe that's what he's trying to do.
I would rather just announce tomorrow that they've added Kofi to the match, because it would make it a million times better.
You never know; things change every day. It seems.
Right now, people, Kim Sparkle, #1 Eva Marie fan.
No, I am not. Another person I'm not a fan of, actually two people, are Elias and Riker.
I like Elias fine, but I do not know what they see in Riker.
Well, they might as well have just replayed what they played the week before. It was exactly the same match, which is exactly the same ending, where Elias just walks away and there's a count out and Riker wins. So AJ had a match with Drew McIntyre that ended in a DQ because Lashley interference, and then the Viking Raiders came out, and then we had a 6-man tag team match.
By the way, I don't like it when shows tease to be in a match and then it really ends up being like a 6-man. I don't like it when that happens.
I hate it too.
Yeah.
But McIntyre ended up pinning Lashley in the end, so
I'm telling you, Raw was bad.
Yes.
I liked the standoff between McIntyre and Almost.
All I'm saying is people were, and Kim, you retweeted this from our tweet, people ripping on the girl's name Dewdrop. And I'm like, there's so many stupid names in wrestling. Why would you even care what they're called? Like, if you were to say, without knowing who he was, if you're going to say, I'm going to name a wrestler Orange Cassidy, you'd be like, that's the stupidest name I've ever heard of.
When he first introduced Wardlow, I thought, what in the heck? What kind of name is Wardlow? But
exactly. So, like, why people are ripping on the name Dewdrop, I'm like, there are some really dumb names in this world. We have a guy running around named Otis. Like, why do we care that she's called Dewdrop?
Yeah.
You know? I was just like,
All
people, right. I was like, I'm telling you, people like Kim just love to trash everything the WWE does.
Nope, I don't.
Except for Eva Marie.
So NXT had some big stuff happening.
NXT.
So at the end
there is nothing to talk about except for what happened at the end.
Well, let me talk about that. At the end of the show of the pay-per-view, William Regal had walked out and said he thought that things needed a change. So at the beginning of this episode of NXT, he came out to the ring, no music, no anything, came out to the ring. He was very emotional.
Sorry, I totally interrupted you.
You should have waited until I got to that point. And
I'm too excited to talk about it because it was the only thing to talk about.
So anyway, he came out and started saying he didn't know if he was the man to continue to run NXT. And then Karrion Kross came out basically threatening him, saying that he wanted to, he should be the one in charge. And then now you can play the music.
No, I want to talk about how NXT had such a great streak going of great champions till they got to Karrion Kross. Like, that guy just is not charismatic. Like, I don't get it.
And Scarlett were at the Smackdown show this week.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, they've had so many good champions. Well, and he's just been.
I mean, Karrion Kross, a lot of people think, he'll be moving to SmackDown or Raw soon. And the only way that he can get out of what they, like, he's beaten everybody. So it doesn't make sense for somebody to come in and beat him. So they're, people are saying like maybe an injury happens or something like that, where he has to drop the title and then move on because of
just let Hit Row Records take it.
What?
Just let Hit Row Records take it. I love Hit Row. Hit Row Records, man. No, okay. But
Joe came in as Samoa Joe came into the ring, and William Regal actually ended up offering him the job as the GM, and then Joe said no. And I was like, oh, that'd be so cool if he just said no and walked away. But he did.
I think, and I've thought about this a lot this week. Dustin, you give me your input, but I think he wants to wrestle. I think they let him out of his contract. He got all the evaluations from the other companies, and they all said, no, you're too much of a risk. And so he's buddies with Triple H, and Triple H, I think, did him a solid and brought him back. But he's not a wrestler. He's not an announcer. He's not the general manager, but he can still be physical. Like, he's an enforcer.
But the rules are that he cannot compete and he cannot put his hands on anybody unless provoked.
Right.
But I've heard that he's probably not going to be wrestling. Like, he may, have a couple run-ins and stuff like he did this week backstage with people, but I just, from what I'm hearing, it doesn't sound like he's actually going to be.
Right. I'm saying this was a good little compromise.
Yeah.
Dustin, what did you didn't see?
I haven't seen it, but
he choked out Adam Cole.
Well, I've seen the highlights of that. My thing is, I don't know if he, like you said, if he did get evaluations from other companies, but I know I read somewhere where when he got released, Triple H was really upset about it, and that's why he brought him back to NXT as fast as possible before he could sign with anyone else.
I mean, if you believe, yeah, I've heard Triple H, he said on record, if he had his way, he would have brought Joe in 5-6 years before they ever did. Like, he was so high. Vince never saw him as the prototypical, saying the blah, blah, blah we hear.
Joe even come out and said it himself that nobody's seen him, everybody said, no, you're too fat and you're too slow to wrestle. And he proved them all wrong.
Right. But really, there wasn't much anything else.
Cole were fighting backstage. You mentioned Joe ended up choking out Cole. And then now next week, both of them get to have a match with a person of their choosing. And then at the next pay-per-view, I believe it is, that they're going to have a one-on-one match. So Kushida was out there having a match against somebody who's debuting, Trey Baxter. Kushida won, and then O'Reilly came out and then challenged him to a match for next week. So that is the match that O'Reilly will have, and we did not hear who Cole is going to have a match against. We had LA Knight's coronation. He came out and basically was giving a bunch of BS to Ted DiBiase about how influential he was to him and all of this. And then he ends up attacking DiBiase, and you got to give it to him. Like, he took a bump, and he's an older guy, so that was interesting. And then of course Cameron Grimes came out, and everybody was all excited because that's one person who is totally over, is Cameron Grimes.
And he totally sticks out. He is
to the moon.
No, I love Cameron. Like, again, he is different, and it's as if a different character. And again, it seems like all the people that look different never really make it to the top, but we'll see what happens. So.
Yeah. There was a lot of women's stuff going on. It was kind of hard to keep track of, but Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai beat Katie and Kaden, or Kaylee and Kaden, I guess is their name. Io Shirai came out and was basically saying what her plans were going forward. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell came out, and then Tony Stark came out, and it was kind of like everybody attacking each other, a brawl. Next week, they've been promoting this for a while, but the Diamond Mine is coming next week, but nobody knows what the Diamond Mine is. Do you guys know anything? Any guesses about what the Diamond Mine is going to be?
Maybe it's DDP coming back.
He's over at AEW.
Bang!
So I don't know. Hopefully it's not one of those like whatever they were doing, the underground matches or whatever. I hope they're not starting to do that on here.
But hey, I guess the whole point is we're supposed to try to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I have no idea, so we'll have to wait and see. Tommaso Ciampa and Thatcher had a match against the Grizzled Young Veterans, and I just have to make a comment here. I was watching this and I was saying, the Grizzled Young Veterans, like, first of all, that's a weird name. And looking at their opponents with Ciampa and Thatcher, like, you could legitimately call them the Grizzled Old Veterans. And I was just like, this is weird. But anyway.
Oh my God.
Thatcher won.
Yeah, according to what I just read, it might be a MMA type of Diamond Mine type of
Well, that would be interesting since somebody else just did that too. I just wanted to make a quick note. Like, I didn't watch all of Impact, but there was something on Impact that was interesting, and that was that Don Callis was fired from Impact. There was a whole thing going on with him and Sami Callihan. He had fired Sami Callihan, and then Tommy Dreamer came in and basically reinstated Sami Callihan, but fired Don Callis. So it'll be interesting to see going forward, like how this affects things with Omega, because of course, that was one of the reasons why he got fired, was because he was, with his personal relationship with Omega, like making decisions that were in Omega's favor. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up. And then we had the 4-hour Friday night of wrestling. Thankfully, this was
we had 4 hours with about maybe 45 minutes worth watching.
Well, this was the last 4-hour night, because next week AEW will be on Saturday, and then they're going to be going back to Wednesday, so that will be good. So Smackdown, we heard yesterday during the day that right before the show that they had decided to move the Hell in a Cell match between Rey Mysterio and Roman Reigns to the Friday night show. And I don't know. I
found the reason out for that.
I'll tell you why, but you go ahead, Dustin.
They were saying the reason they did that is because they didn't want 3 Hell in a Cell matches on that pay-per-view, and they wanted the women to headline the show.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think the women will headline the show. I think it'll end up being Lashley and Matt.
I guarantee you they started producing the show and putting it together and realized this is going to be a terrible match. Rey Mysterio and Rey Mysterio and Roman Reigns do not fit together in the ring. And they realized we cannot put this on a pay-per-view with our champion. So let's utilize it and try to draw in some higher ratings, which was a smart move to do because the match was awful.
Well, but the thing is that Andrew Zarian came out and said that USA Network was upset that they did this because it took away from, it took away from
Peacock, from people wanting to see the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and that this was a big match on pay-per-view, and then instead of that, Fox Network got it.
It still doesn't matter. I
thought it was a decent match.
No, Dustin, man, are you drunk too?
It was not. I felt it was not horrible, but it wasn't. I agree with you. Like
Ray beat his ass for that first half of the match.
Oh man, it was a terrible match.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. And
what I mean by terrible is in 5 years or even a year from now, no one's going to remember that match at all. There was nothing memorable that happened. Nothing exciting happened in that. All the possible outcomes they could have had with Dominic or the Usos or all the different variables, they just really messed it up. It was nothing. It was taking a commercial out. It was a 15-minute match, and it just abruptly ended because you have the time restraints of television, and it was just not very good.
Well, so I guess we talked about the match before we really talked about what happened at the beginning. In the beginning, Ray came out and just explained why, from his perspective, why they were having the match. And that was because he just could not wait until Sunday to get into the ring with Roman. He was so upset about what happened with what he did to Dominic that he just had to have the match. And so it was weird because the ring, or the cage came halfway down, and then it came all the way down, and Ray was in the cage, and then he called out Roman and said, Roman had said on Twitter that he agreed to the match, but he wanted to hear it from his mouth. So he came out, and then Roman Reigns tried to talk him out of the match and said, "Are you sure this is what you want?" And, it's going to be a really rough match. And Ray said, yes, he was not, this was the thing he was most sure about. So then Roman turns to Heyman and says, well, we tried things your way, we tried the diplomatic way, now we're going to do it my way. And he walked away. So they did kind of infer that Dominic might be off of SmackDown a little bit because he was injured. So I don't know, maybe they're finally going to take a little break now after this match, which wouldn't be a bad thing, especially since there's other people that haven't been on that they could bring back. So we had Kevin Owens and Big E versus Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz, and I thought it was funny the little backstage thing that happened between Owens and Big E. Owens was just like saying all these great things about Big E.
Now that was really funny, and he goes, and Kevin's pretty good.
Yeah, he was, he's the strongest, and they're gonna, all this stuff about him, and then came to Big E, and Big E's like, yeah, he's all right, that's not
but see that
words,
but see, it's funny because to me that comes across as they were given like, here's what to talk about, but they were given freedom to do what they want, and it's more memorable. Like Ray's promo was terrible, totally scripted and stuff, but yeah, that backstage part was really funny.
Yeah. So anyway, they came out. Commander Aziz, I mean, you mentioned, you thought he was a great wrestler, but
no, I said he was better. I said he's more agile.
Okay.
Yeah, I saying if you're talking about the two behemoths or monsters, he's able to do more stuff than Almost is. That's all I was saying.
Aziz has to get rid of that uniform. Like, that was atrocious.
I was wondering why he kept that jacket on.
I mean, he could wear it to the ring and take it off, but it's like...
Plus, he had his little ropes on the side that kept flapping in his face.
But I mean, Amos wasn't climbing, was jumping off the sides or flipping over the ropes. Like, I don't know how tall they are in real life, but it seems like Aziz is way more of an athlete and way more to be able to do stuff than Amos was.
I think they said he was between 6'3" and 6'6". Almost is 7 feet, I believe. So he's a little bit shorter, but anyway, they had a match. Zayn distracted Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn.
Aziz he's 6'9".
Yeah, I didn't think he was 6'3" to 6'6", but.
Oh no! Oh yeah, so he's 6'9". So he is.
I will say that I thought Sammy in the backstage, like rubbing the TV and like touching Kevin and kissing it.
So he distracted Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens took a Nigerian nail, props to him. He sold it. He was like acting like he couldn't breathe. Even when he went backstage, he was still couldn't talk and everything.
He's like, give me Sammy.
It was funny that Sami Zayn had, was watching that TV, and I actually have an idea for a new trio. Do you want to hear what it is? It is Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and Otis, because they are all going mental right now. They have crazy eyes, like going crazy.
With Seth Rollins as the leader.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Otis just.
And we could, take it back to the Asylum days that Dean Ambrose isn't there anymore. So anyway, I just thought it was funny because somebody obviously has a fascination with these people, like
going crazy
and stuff. So anyway, there is going to be a match at Hell in a Cell with Sami Zayn, and
so you have to ask yourself, would you rather see, a Sami versus Kevin match versus what we saw with Reigns and Rey Mysterio. Like that's what you're gonna have to decide yourself is which one.
Well, their match is not going to be in the Hell in a Cell.
I know, but like it's just like that's what they threw in to replace it. Because it's like, so you just got to ask yourself, maybe after the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn will be like, well, that was so much better than Roman and Ray was,
I mean, there's no denying that they have good chemistry and that they are, good wrestlers. I'm sure it's going to be a great match, but for me, it's just like, how many times are we going to see them wrestle against each other? I mean, there's other people that they could be having feuds with, but
I know, but it's the WWE.
Well, then we had a King of the Ring match. I was very confused by this.
All right, but I do want to
Jimmy's
say
favorite.
No, actually, I think Boogs is growing on me. Like it's funny.
Yes.
Like now that the fact that he's like totally embraced it, and plus maybe I'm reading a really good book about like the heyday of the 80s metal bands and stuff, and that's what he is, and it's such an odd combo that it works.
His high screech voice.
And the fact that he's really playing is impressive.
Yeah.
And I don't like Baron Corbin at all, but I thought this was the best match of the night. Like it was better.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but I was really confused because they did have the throne out there. They had the crown up on the little.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe they'll just go with King Shinsuke for a while and not even do a King in a Ring, but at least it gets Shinsuke doing something. So I guarantee you that either on the pre-show tomorrow or SmackDown next week, it'll still be Baron Corbin gets a rematch.
Well,
dude, it was funny. Baron Corbin was in the ring crying at the end.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that Baron Corbin, like it wasn't like an official King of the Ring, although they made it seem like that. And Corbin lost the crown, kind of unjustly to Nakamura. He just kind of kept taking it from him. So, I mean, they could.
Wow, I can't believe we're on a podcast where someone's defending Baron Corbin.
I'm just saying that.
Like, who
what I think it's going to lead to is that Baron Corbin is probably going to ask for a King of the Ring match so that he can try to get it back. So,
which our King of the Ring tournament, or I missed today's King of the Ring. I really like Royal Rumble will forever be the best pay-per-view ever, but I love King of the Ring. Like I love the whole tournament aspect of it. So I wish they would bring it back as a pay-per-view instead of like, just doing it throughout the shows and stuff like that.
Oh, I don't like the randomness in which they do it. Like they do it and then it's like 4 years.
Yeah, it used to be in June, and so it was kind of like Mania, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and then I don't know why they got away from it because I dug it. So
well, there are rumors that it might be coming back, so that was another reason that I was confused by that.
I think you're just naturally confused.
Well, a lot of things do confuse me. Bayley and Bianca Belair had a little, I don't know, pre-match scuffle before.
Hey, she wasn't obnoxious talk show Bayley. She came out, she was serious. Yeah. I liked the whole, all the screens took it over. No one else has done that but her. So it was intriguing. I don't think there's any way Bayley wins the title. No. But man, Belair needs to work on her mic skills. You would think her fiance would teach her a little stuff. But man, it was bad.
She'll get better, I think, over time.
It was almost like Jim Ross talking to Andrade bad. Like, that thing should have been. So oh my gosh, that was so terrible.
Well, actually, Jay wasn't on this show for whatever reason, but
but that made no sense either.
They had a Jimmy and Reigns talk backstage, and Jimmy has thought about things, and even though they may
You
not,
think he's falling in line?
No, I hope not. How many of you were just waiting for him to super kick Roman at the end of SmackDown? Like, I just kept waiting for him to super kick Roman.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, at the end, well, we'll get to that. I mean, Jimmy was involved in the end, but anyway, I don't know what the deal was, why Jay wasn't on there. They said Jimmy had been trying to talk to Jay for the whole week and he wasn't answering calls and blah, blah, blah. Reigns told him to go find his brother because they needed him. Jimmy was saying like, oh, I can help you. And Roman just kind of was like, no, we need Jay to help us and go get him. So that was
a really cool little piece there where Roman kind of panicked and he was like, no, I need your brother. You know what I mean? And, and so.
Yeah. Then we had, I don't know, Otis is getting another push. Apparently, Otis and Dawkins had a match, and
that was basically a setup the whole way.
Yeah, Otis kind of was beaten up, and then at the end he had the crazy eyes. So, I'm saying,
all I'm saying, at least Chad Gable's on TV. At least he's not sitting around doing nothing.
That's true. He's probably grateful for that.
I'm guaranteeing you, anyone would rather be on TV with a terrible gimmick than just doing nothing,
They had a backstage interview. Well, they were interviewing Cesaro. Seth Rollins came along and ended up taking over and started telling Cesaro how much he respected him and blah, blah, blah. And then basically turned around and said, no, actually, I don't respect you.
Oh, yeah, that's Seth Rollins. He's a liar.
I want to, whatever, stomp on your grave, whatever he said. And then Cesaro was like, well, I respect you and blah, blah, blah. And then he gets up and he pushes Rollins' chair over and Rollins falls.
Yeah, I'm really sick of the backhanded compliments in the promos. Like, they never did that back in the day. Like, they just talked about how terrible it was. It wasn't like, Roman coming out and saying, oh, Rey Mysterio, you might be one of the best of all time and one of the best to ever do it. But, back in the day, they just trashed. Like, even Austin never did that stuff. Or, it was just like, you're worthless. And I don't like the whole backhanded burying someone without burying someone, I don't know.
Well, all of that.
Cesaro and Seth will steal the show. So.
Yeah, leading up to Cesaro and Seth Rollins in a Hell in the Cell.
Which I also guarantee they're not in Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, they added them.
No, they're not.
Yes, they did.
Are they?
Yep.
Yeah, they added them.
No, but not in the cell.
No, it's not in the cell.
Oh, it's not in the cell.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Show, but they're on the show.
No, I knew they were on the show. I got really excited.
That would be nice if it was in Hell in the Cell.
Right, I guarantee you, Steph and Cesaro will probably be first on, and then we'll have to sit through 2.5 hours. That's right. Kim will be during the whole time.
Then we got to the Hell in a Cell match between Reigns and Rey Mysterio, and as Jimmy pointed out, well, we have some differing, I guess, opinions about things. I thought the most memorable thing of the match was towards the end when Roman Reigns picked him up and just threw him into the steel wall of the cage, and he just was like, kind of like a
pinata.
like a
rag doll
bug on a windshield fell to the ground, and then he got back in, and then Reigns did
that weird submission hold of Roman's,
and it was so funny because most of the time people when they get put in a submission hold, they're like, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. I mean, Ray just was tapping out right away.
No, I think if you notice, go back and watch it. They had the television time. It's hard. When you're running a pay-per-view on your own network, you don't have to worry about it. But they were so paranoid. I think they were like, "You gotta go home," and they just ended it all quick.
Yeah, but they could have done if that was the case, then they could have done with what came next, where, you know, Jimmy came out and raised Roman's hand, and then
Roman, and then weren't you just waiting for him to super kick Roman?
No, I don't think it's time for that yet. But Roman went, and then
of course you don't agree. So
started beating up Rey Mysterio again, and I'm like,
because they ended it too soon. That's the thing. They ended it too soon, and then they had to make up time.
Well, why did he tap out then? He could have kept going.
Kim, you got to realize that when you're in the middle of the match and they tell you to finish the match, you finish it. And then they realize, oh, we have too much time left. And so it was, you can tell it was all just put together at the end, and they ran out of time. And so Roman just went over and beat him up some more. Like, I'm telling you, Dad, go watch it again. That's what happened.
It's crazy.
See, my thing is, Jimmy's gonna fall in line, and Jimmy and Jay are gonna win the tag titles.
I'm not gonna fall in line.
I do think Jimmy and Jay will win the tag titles here.
See, I liked it better when Jimmy was going against the family. If he just falls in line, it's not as intriguing.
Well, the thing that I was disappointed with,
let me guess, you're going to disagree with what I said.
No, the thing that I was disappointed with was that Jimmy just came and was like, oh, well, now I'm here to support you.
Well, no, unless he's faking it. If he's faking it and trying to fall in line as a ploy, that's fine for him to give in that quickly.
Yeah, but there's no evidence of that right now.
Right, but I'm saying, well, you have to be a little patient. Us wrestling fans are not generally a patient group to let things reveal themselves. Let's go on to AEW. So.
All right. So AEW started with an MMA style match between
great first match.
Wardlow. Did you want to talk about it, Dustin?
I'll talk about it. I think that was a good opening match, honestly. Two big guys that are both athletic, fighting each other. Some of the highlights, is Wardlow, doing a Superman punch off the cage.
Yeah, but you can tell it's not real. It was scripted.
Yes, but here's the thing about it. So
don't present it. It's an insult to all other real MMA fighters to put it in a stage event.
I agree with you, but you're always the one that says the casual fan, and I feel like looking at this from a casual fan's point of view, it was good because a lot of people who watch MMA,
from a casual MMA fan, yes.
No.
From a casual wrestling fan, no. From a casual wrestling fan, they would turn it on and go, "Why is MMA on wrestling?"
Oh, Jimmy, did you like the Lions Den match back in the day?
No. I don't listen. The thing is, it's like if they still tried to say professional wrestling was real wrestling. That's an insult to all like Olympic collegiate wrestlers. They
weren't saying this was a MMA match. They were saying it was like an MMA type of a match, and
it was MMA rules.
With MMA rules, and they made it seem like it was, kind of legit. And I have to say,
but it's not. You can tell it was not.
Wardlow looked like a badass. I will tell you that. Like he came out and.
But listen, since you guys never hold back on how terrible you think the WWE is, I am not going to hold back anymore on how dumb AEW is doing, because somebody's got to speak the truth of the fact that you guys think AEW can do no wrong.
I thought this was the best match of the night. So
no, it was an insult to regular athletes, and they tried to put it off as it was a real MMA competition, and I thought it was insulting.
They were not putting it off as that.
Yes, they were, because they had Justin Roberts at the beginning explaining the point system and the rounds and all that stuff. They tried
but they weren't saying it was like a sanctioned MMA.
No, I didn't say they were sanctioned it. They were trying to put it off like it was legit, not predetermined winner match. and that's not accurate.
Well, I thought that this actually looked like they were actually beating the crap out of each other.
Well, they might have, but you can also tell it was choreographed and scripted.
Well, I thought it was.
I'm sorry that you guys can't handle the fact when someone criticizes your precious AEW.
Well,
but it was not good. It was not good.
All right. Well,
I feel like this show was a good show, so I am going to say some negative things about
AEW. I didn't feel like it was a good show either. But I liked that match.
Yeah, me too.
Match 2.
I thought it was an insult to real fighters, and that saddens me because I like Jake Hager. I liked him as Jack Swagger. I like the fact that and I hope it would propel more towards him legit Bellator and stuff. I just did not like the presentation the way it was.
He's an MMA. He has not lost a match in MMA.
No, that's what I'm saying. I hope he continues to propel him there. But I can also see him getting backlash saying, look what I'm doing. And all the real MMA fighters are saying that's not real.
What about if you looked at it like, oh, they're bringing MMA to a different kind of audience and be like, oh, Jake Hager's in MMA. Maybe I want
No, that's what I'm saying. I hope it propels him more. I'm all for that. I did not like the way they presented it, like it wasn't scripted and choreographed, because you could easily tell
something different that we don't usually see.
Yes, but I say that about stuff, and you would say, yeah, but it was stupid.
All right, let's move on.
Like I said that about Nikki. At least Nikki's on and doing something different.
The fact that we're not going to agree all the time, and it's okay.
No, I'm more frustrated the fact that anything that the WWE tries, everyone just wants it to fail. And anytime they get in trouble, everybody celebrates it. But they look at AEW like they could do, like it is the perfect thing.
All right.
No.
Match 2. Darby Allin versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky.
Now, I don't know why they had a handicap match, but it was the best match of the night. So
they had a match,
awesome match
last week. Darby Allin, they told Darby Allin that he should pick another partner, but it couldn't be Sting. And so he was supposed to announce who his partner was.
Oh, was it supposed to be Big Cass?
He was talking to Sting, and he just told Sting he wanted to do it on his own. He wanted Sting to even stay home. He didn't even want him involved at all. And he wanted to take them on himself. And so Sting said, okay, I respect you. I will respect your decision. And that's why it was a handicap match.
Well, I thought it was funny.
Out of everything we saw, how many hours is it each week? 9 hours of wrestling.
Oh.
That was the best match out of all 9 hours of wrestling.
I thought it was funny when he zip tied Ethan Page's feet.
Right.
Yeah,
but I mean he easily could have won that match.
No, I thought it was the best thing they did. I thought it was. See, that's why I'm so good at this, because I can acknowledge when they do something good. But no, I thought it was an excellent match, and I don't understand. Anyway, I just thought it was the best presentation.
Yeah.
That and Miro coming out was the thing about AEW.
I was sad to see that, Darby lost, but at the same time, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page needed a win. So,
well, I mean, if you look at it, it's if we're talking realism, those two people, there's no way a person like Darby Allin should have beat them two.
Yeah, and the fact that they're the heels and they're celebrating that they beat him when it was just 2-on-1. I mean, that just
right. At least they didn't beat him and then spray him down and try to put a sparkly jacket on him or something at the end. We'll talk about that later.
Match 3, Orange Cassidy versus Caesar. That was an okay match, but
I did not understand this match. I will tell you, a lot of this show I did not understand.
It came across like we are so sick of doing this on Friday night. We're so desperate to get back into Wednesday. I just kind of felt like they were trying to cram so much into the show because they've had such of you know, so much different things, stuff like that. So I thought I liked the Penelope Ford thing. I thought her and who's the cheerleader, Julia Hart or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was a good match. That was a very athletic match. I like Miro. I guess Miro's going with this whole thing of he's God's gift of God's favorite wrestler or whatever. But that one was good. Miro coming out was great. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy like put Christian in a
Matt Hardy put Christian in a cage. Hey, there was a good part with Jungle Boy, who was interrupted.
No.
Dude, Jungle Boy's gonna. I would honestly like to see Jungle Boy win.
No, he won't, and everyone in the world knows he won't. But
I know he won't. But
Kenny Omega cannot cut a promo. I do not. Again, I'm not getting.
I hate Kenny Omega, but he comes off as like the biggest ass, and he did in the back.
It's just funny. He's like, "Come on, I want a street fight right now."
No, he's just. But it's
gonna go on a picnic, and I brought my knuckle sandwiches.
But it's not like good heat. It's more like this guy is super annoying.
Well, but the funny part is how Jungle Boy reacts to it. Like Jungle.
He was great. Like he was great.
Jungle Boy
I wish we were in a world
like you are crazy, and what you want to fight me now? And so then he's like, yeah. So then he goes and puts his stuff down, and then the fight starts, and I just think it's just to make Kenny Omega just look like a bigger douche than he already is. So
but it's not a good kind. But I wish I mean, if we lived in a great world where Jungle Boy would win, but I really hope, Dustin, you aren't going to bed at night thinking that's a real possibility.
No, I know it's not. I'm just saying.
To want Jungle Boy to win, and everybody's going to want Jungle Boy to win, and they're going to put on a match that
I think Jungle Boy is the future, though.
Win.
Jungle Boy will be a future.
Yeah.
Kim, are you saying you think there's a chance he will actually win next week?
What I'm saying is they're going to have a match that will give people the feeling like he could win.
And I wish sometimes we could just all go back to being a casual fan who doesn't know anything about the inside of the business and sit at home and think, there's a chance Jungle Boy's going to win. You know what I mean? Like, I wish there's part of us that we could do that. And now, because we're all such cynical people who'd like to pick apart everything. I almost wish that, I didn't know so much about wrestling.
I thought you mentioned you didn't like the interview with Jim Ross and Andrade, but I actually
no, I think it was too long. Like, he's limited in his speech, so it's either get someone there to talk for him or make it short and sweet. That's why you don't have giant matches, or that's why you don't have giant promos with Asuka or Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, I didn't think it was too long. I thought it was just the right length. I mean, he spoke some English, he spoke a little Spanish, and they translated it. I'm like super excited about Andrade. I like him, and I think they're building him up to look like a super,
Well, I'm wondering who the surprise is. The surprise is that he says him and what's her name have Vicky.
Well, the rumor is that
Zelina Vega.
Tria Trinidad, who is Zelina Vega, may be coming. So that that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I was glad to hear the explanation last night of why he's with Vicky Guerrero, because I was kind of confused about why Vicky Guerrero was involved in this whole thing with Andrade. So I'm glad they kind of explained that.
I don't know, maybe because they didn't know at the time if they were going to get, Zelina and all that stuff. Kid Dustin, I don't know where you are in this whole thing. I keep telling Kim there's a chance that Aleister Black is going to be back in the WWE. She still thinks, apparently you do, there's no way in the world he'll go back.
Okay.
All right, so there was a promo with Matt Hardy. talking about how Cage should have just stayed away, and Cage came in and they locked him in a cage and left.
That's like someone, Nicolas Cage starring in a movie called Cage.
Match 4, you had Cody and Brock Anderson versus QT Marshall and Aaron Solo.
Now Brock doing the whatever he did at the end, just like his dad used to do, that little suplex, that was really cool.
Okay, now I have to say there was something about this match that completely bothered me to the core. And I'm glad that they had like the feel good moment of, his dad being there and it was his debut and all this stuff. But that boy needs to get somebody to make him better ring gear, because his blue ring gear was like all baggy in the butt, and I was like, what in the
No, it's his dad's old gear. Like, it's modeled off his dad's old gear, and I agree, he looks like a creative wrestler. It's just like, I don't have time to make an outfit for him, so he's just gonna be in these blue trunks.
It was horrible. It ruined the whole.
His trunks were, but I thought it was a good match.
Dustin,
Brock Anderson,
everything that AEW has is a good match.
Oh, Brock Anderson, for being a rookie, did pretty good.
Has Dustin ever said, I thought this match was terrible when it came to anything AEW has done?
Yeah, Orange Cassidy and Caesar. That was a horrible match.
Just the bias off you two is so strong.
The AEW from you is way too.
No, I amped it up because I have to make up for anyone in the world who watches WWE.
Match 5, a decent Julia Hart and Penelope Ford.
I thought that was better than the Cody.
And Jimmy's boy.
I like when women have very fluid matches where there's not a bunch of mess ups and botches and it looks athletic. And I thought both of them were really good at that.
Except
Jimmy's boy come out.
Julia Hart did that like double leg. She did the split thing, and it ended up nowhere near Penelope Ford.
Well, it was supposed to be her missing. That's supposed to be Julia's finisher.
Yeah. But I mean, for her being a 19-year-old, she did a pretty good job.
What cracked me up is after the match, Mirror come out. Where's your husband? Sorry,
God's favorite wrestler. Hero.
He's like, you shouldn't be out here 3-on-1.
What I would like to know is, seriously, where is Kip Sabian? Because obviously Penelope is on here, and Kip
Sabian
maybe
time off.
Maybe he's twitching.
I don't know, but yeah,
he's twitching a word. Did they call it tweeting?
I was surprised Pillman hung in there with Miro the way he did.
That match actually gets me excited for next Saturday.
That could be a good match.
Yeah,
because I actually think Brian Pillman Jr. is pretty underrated, and so I can admit when something excites me on the opposite program, and you guys just can't. Unless it involves Seth Rollins or Eva Marie, then Kim's all about it.
And then you had your main event tag match. Gosh, it was lame. Same shit, different day. Dude, Young Bucks had to interfere, or Nick Jackson interfered and sprayed.
That's what I'm talking about. And guess who was in it? Eddie Kingston.
The show-off's favorite, Eddie Kingston.
Tonight.
But sprayed Penta Jr. in the face, and he got blinded and lost the match. So nothing too exciting in that match.
I have to say, I know you hate the Young Bucks, Jimmy, but the Young Bucks.
I don't hate them. I just think they're overrated.
Up to the point now where it's almost like so bad that it's good. Like they come out.
I mean, unless that's what they're going for.
And that is what they're going for. And it's getting to that point where like they just overdo it so much that it's actually kind of funny and good now.
I'm telling you, man, I don't understand. Why did we have a whole show? I'm trying to think. Was Moxley on at all?
No,
Moxley's he's gone because of his baby.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good excuse because
so there were two.
And Cody Rhodes also had his baby.
Yep, they both had babies this week. So this was a pre-taped AEW.
Yeah.
Because Cody had a baby that day.
But he's out there with Arn's son.
So that was the week of wrestling, and thank you for watching with us. We will be back for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view on Sunday night, and we'll get that up as soon as we can. We appreciate you watching us. Please subscribe and tell your friends about us, and we will see you guys next time.
To the moon.